Let me start with dignitaries on the dais. Shri Surya Prakash ji, Chairman of the Prasar Bharati. He is transiting from being a journalist to being an administrator. Jawahar Sarkar Sahab, the CEO of Prasar Bharati. I think he's more of CIO, Chief Ideating Officer, comes up with ideas. Mr. J.S. Mathur, the Special Secretary in the Ministry of Information Broadcasting, but he's also a member in the board of Prasar Bharati. Perhaps not only to provide support from the ministry to Prasar Bharati, but also to remind the CEO, Veer Arjun, कर्म ही धर्म है, बाण उठाओ और आगे बढ़ो. Mr. Peter, it's very interesting listening to you. And when the introductions were being done by the MC here, and that perhaps is the most embarrassing part for me, you immediately got up to make a speech. I can understand because Germans are so very straightforward to the job. But we here in India have a lot of ceremonies to take care of. Mr. Sharma and Mr. P.K. Singh of the Broadcast Engineering Society, the bright minds here, innovative minds here, progressive, ladies and gentlemen, all those associated with Broadcasting Society in India, thank you so much for allowing me to come up here on the stage and get an opportunity to speak to all of you. I'm just a consumer. I'm a user. You are the ones who are producing content and the methods, the means for the content to reach to us. So I also thank you on behalf of all the users that use your technologies. It's very interesting when you go to occasions like this to make a speech. You actually get a written speech from here, what you have to read out. So I did go through that. And when I went through that, my attention was caught on a line which was very interesting, which said, amongst the job that the engineering society is doing, is bridging the gap between the educational institutions and the professional bodies. Very interesting. And that took me back to perhaps it's the same difference between, if you go back in history, the people who invented radio, there are two prominent names there, Mr. Marconi and Tesla. Tesla was the man who came up with original ideas and proved them with mathematics and physically. But Mr. Marconi was the man who took up the basic ideas, converted into the practical ways of using it, and perhaps that's why his name is more famous than Tesla. And somewhere there, we also have an Indian, Mr. Jagdish Chandra Bose, who was, if not more, equally responsible for radio. And if we are associated with prehistory of radio and broadcasting, then I am certain that we will remain associated with the future of broadcasting. And that is where all of you come in. So my congratulations to Broadcasting Engineering Society to put up this mega show, exposition, where companies from across the world, people from across the globe come here, interact with each other, and give us all an opportunity to understand and learn from each other. They go beyond the boundaries set by mankind. And broadcasting, in any case, breaks that boundary on a daily basis. Sometimes the laws of the land are unable to keep pace with changing technology. Way back when radio started, and community radio was being extensively used by the world around, it was also being used in India. It was actually prohibited to use community radio in India. It was only somewhere in the 2002 that community radio was actually permitted in our country. And with the changing face of geopolitical environment and the awareness with the RTIs, with the transparency in governance, with the educated lot, with the informed lot, I think we have to keep pace with the technology. And so the laws must learn to keep pace with the changing technology. Every generation, and most people in the generations feel this is it. This is the technology and it cannot get better. But there are always that small percentage of people who believe, who see the future and who believe there's more to come. And I gather under this roof today, we have that small percentage of people who believe that there's a lot more to come. I did travel, being in sports, I did travel around. And I remember in the last decade that I was traveling, we would go to some of the European countries and we would have an option of IPTV or the usual conventional television. And curiosity would always get the better of us to try and check what is IPTV. It used to be slow at that point of time. So we would switch back to the normal TV. But those people who thought of IPTV did not give up. They knew the future belongs to them and they kept at it. Similarly, I remember long ago somebody speak about Apple TV. And I bought an Apple TV. At first I thought an Apple TV that could fit into your pocket. Usually the TV word means a huge screen. And so I got myself an Apple TV, and it was revolutionary at that point of time to see YouTube videos and everything on the net on your television. As Mr. Peter was mentioning, he was giving his statistics. I was quite amused to see that television has 3 to 4 hours a day of viewing, and mobile has only about 12 minutes, or YouTube has about 12 minutes. I think of the 12 minutes that I watch, my mother makes up for the 3 or 4 hours of television. They're perpetually at home and seeing a whole lot of television. So I guess it matters as to who are you catering to? What segment are you catering to? And today, if we have a large amount of population that is static in offices or at home, so they are glued to the television. And there's a small percentage that is mobile, which is watching television on the mobile. But these will change very rapidly. My constituency is rural India. Jaipur rural is my Lok Sabha constituency. And it's so interesting when you go to any of the small towns and you ask people how many on WhatsApp and how many on Facebook, you'll have most of the young people raise their hands. There's a small town called Kotputli. That's part of my constituency. It's a population of about 40,000. And I asked a mobile shop owner, how many mobiles do you sell in a day? 100. I said, how many smartphones in that? You won't believe it. 80 out of 100. It's a small town. So that is the future potential of all these various contents and platforms coming together on the mobile. And undoubtedly in Doordarshan, I feel very excited with the fact that we have the potential and we are moving in that direction, not only on the All India Radio, so on the radio side, but also on the television side. If we have these many towers that we've been able to put up in the last decades, we also have the opportunity of using these towers by putting up multiple transmitters there, by putting up digital transmitters there. And thereby we are talking now of DVB-T2, which is even more exciting, that can we provide direct television on an ordinary mobile and not just limit or stop at that. Can we also go ahead and provide internet via the broadband spectrum? So these are the possibilities. In FM, we've decided to put about 100 All India radio stations all around within 2016 and 17. We have an aim of FMizing the entire nation, so that's better quality radio available to each and everyone. And we have most of the people of Prasar Bharati sitting here. I don't think so you will have a better opportunity when you have the I&B minister and the finance minister both as one person, so you don't have to really worry for funds. I was especially glad to know that students have access to your exposition here. With so many companies, with the latest technology available here, the touch and feel and the ability to see and understand and talk to some of these people are the best ways to ensure understanding of the subject and open the minds of each and every student. That is the way we will bridge this gap between the education institutions and the professional bodies. Like I said right in the beginning, the future is now, and literally under this roof in your hands. An idea will only be an idea if it's not spoken or discussed. But the idea, if broadcast, will become a revolution. So let's hope that you can revolutionize the nation, the world, come up with newer technologies, methods and means of the content reaching to the users, and finally, the users enjoying, educating themselves, and progressing with all of you the way you take this whole nation and the world forward. Thank you so much.